As we said, there's 13 teams in it, so there'll be 39 riders in this race because all 3 riders from each country will be in it. The top 2 results count. And in the event of a tie, they will throw away the worst result, as we saw in the case of the final qualified nation, South Africa, yesterday, who tied with Venezuela. Venezuela had a worse race to throw away, and that's how it will work out in this instance as well.
Yeah, it'll be interesting here. We saw Joe Shimota, and this is a Lucas Oil Pro Motocross winner. He actually won the final moto of the season. Japan is absolutely leaning on him in this race. The tough part is he's on a 250, right? So he's got to get the start and ideally win this race on a less powered motorcycle on this super deep start because of the rain. So they're certainly fighting an uphill battle here.
But obviously you've been here in all kinds of different conditions. We were here for the Motocross Nations back in 2018. Even when it was heavy and wet, we saw the MX2 riders, Jorge Prado, Hunter Lawrence at that time. They were the class winners, Prado and Hunter Lawrence. So it's not necessarily a big disadvantage out on the racetrack, but you need to be cute as to where you can start. And actually for the B final, you've got a 250. Do they put the 250 at the inside? In these conditions, even for this, possibly. Or maybe your best started down the inside.
I think you have to, because this Japanese effort is going to live and die with Joe Shimota. If Joe Shimota doesn't get a good start and doesn't get a good finish, they virtually have no chance. So I think you have to put your best foot forward and put him on the inside. And you look back on that 2018 year, Jorge Prado got a good start from the inside, and that set them up for success. But it's really, really challenging on a deep start here on that 250. He's got to get out the first 5 feet. If he can clear those guys, because he has no chance of pulling them past that, it's got to be right off that jump right off the gate.
Ethan Reynesson, I believe, making his 7th appearance for Iceland. Started back in 2010. He was there 2011, 13, 2017, 19, of course, last year as well. So obviously a lot of experience for him, but they still yet to qualify Iceland.
Yeah, and when you think about, Team Ireland as well, Stewie Edmonds, Martin Barr, they have so much experience, and they've come through the B final several times. So I don't want to say this is old hat for them to be in the B final, but they understand the dynamic. They know what they have to do, and I think the nerves for them are probably a little bit lower than everybody else because they've been here and done that
27 before. Appearances with this one included between Stewie Edmonds and Martin Barr. Barr on his 16th appearance, and Stewie Edmonds making his 11th appearance. Stewie going from 2009, but Martin Barr from 2005. And but they have had 11 top 20 finishes, so they have been through more often than not. And they're hoping to do it again. But listening to Josiah Natsuki, if anyone can, we can. How many people have been sat behind the gate now? Japan, possibly. Venezuela, maybe. New Zealand, Ireland.
Yeah, it's going to be a great race, right? There are several countries that can get that one spot. You saw Joe Shimota there, 3 gates from the inside, so clearly I believe they made the smart decision to put Joe on the inside, but he's going to be reliant on his teammates too. Joe just going out and winning the moto won't get the job done. He's going to need some help.
Well, just taking a little longer just to get everybody in place. The rider in the yellow there overlooking the skybox, Max Nagel. He'll be lining up for Germany a little later on. He qualified along with his teammates Tom Koch and Simon Langenfelder. But all eyes on this one, and I'm sure there will be a lot of riders, teams, team managers up in the skybox overlooking the gate now to see how different this whole procedure is. Getting off the gate, there's a lot more water, a lot heavier as the Fly Racing 15-second board goes up. And what kind of carnage are we going to see going into the first turn? Only one team will go through. Who will it be that goes through via the B final here? The gate about to drop here at Redbud. And it's a good clean drop as well. Over on the left side. Is that A-Rod? I think it might be, yeah. 67. So Venezuela getting off to a flying start immediately. A couple of guys going straight on into the bank, and then we've got carnage at the back there. So that's definitely going to help these guys down the front end. The 120 there of Connolly from New Zealand is in 2nd position as well. 3rd, we've got Akura of Japan, Alves in 4th, and Lopez, and then Mikula, the FAM Europe rider. Jasiconis, Jasdukas, Fernandez, Felix Fernandez, and then Cordova's Martin Barr in 11th, Shimota 12th.
I wondered, A-Rod was one of the rider out front was one of the only riders to not go out on that siding lap, and he gets the whole stretch. So the answer is that question, and it's really getting off of that wet grate. There's less dirt, they get a cleaner launch, and then he was able to accelerate from there.
So Anthony Rodriguez charging downhill. And you see Brodley Connolly and A-Rod goes down, throws it away, and Connolly leads for New Zealand. Where is his second and third rider? Where is his backup? Natsuki in 13th place, and I wonder if Carter, yeah, he must have been one of the guys that went down in the first turn because he's in 30th position, but you only need 2 good results from the 3.
Well, there's the other end of that coin. So Anthony didn't go out for the parade lap. He likely didn't know there was a huge puddle on that inside rut. You know, that's the push and pull of not going out.
Is that Barr? So
that
Barr is out. So Barr was in 10th place. So 2 Irish now. Is that the look of the Irish going against them here? Obviously, you got, what is it, Notre Dame up the road, the college football team?
Yeah.
Up the
Catholic
Irish.
University, yep.
But a quick get up then for A-Rod, Anthony Rodriguez here, but he's how much wet mud now on the glove, on the handlebar grip. Talking to Rich Evans, you know, the brother of Mitch Evans from Australia. After their one session, he said actually the track looked pretty good then, but you can see already now after 2 warm-ups and the B final warm-up, how much the track has changed. More water has fallen as well. And I'm surprised to see how hard it is underneath.
Yeah, the key for the rest of the day, obviously this race is, it's going to be a mud fest for the next 20 minutes or so, but the key to the rest of the day when we get into the main racing will be how much rain do we get? Because I think they can salvage it, they can get in and do some track work, but if it continues to rain throughout the afternoon, it's going to look just like this or worse.
So Brody Connolly leads for New Zealand, Anthony Rodriguez, 67. We've got Lecurcio. So Lithuania are leading the way at the moment. Venezuela now leading the way. So it's changing every time we come over. We've got a 2nd and a 7th for Venezuela. They are on 9. Japan on 15 with a 6th and a 9th. But then New Zealand leapfrog them, going to 11 points because Natsuki in 10th place. So a lot of time left to run. It's only a 20-minute plus 2-lap race. And there's going to be riders and teams out there wishing it was still 30 plus 2 as it used to be a couple of years ago. So as it stands at the end of that first lap then, Venezuela on 9 with a 2nd and a 7th. New Zealand on 11 with a 10-1. Japan on 15 with a 6 and a 9. And you would imagine that Joe Shimota would be one of the riders starting to carve his way through. But it's Akura who is the top Jap at the moment. This was, yeah, Rodriguez front end just getting away from him. And we don't need a translator or a sign language person to tell us what he was thinking when he went through there a lap ago.
Well, and for Joe Shimota, as you mentioned, that's going to be a really reassuring sign. When he pulls up to the back of his teammate Okura, he's probably wondering, am I going to be the lone soldier? Am I going to be the one to put in a good result and it won't matter? He's got a little bit of help, and that's what we said he needed. He needed at least one of his other teammates to put in a top 10 result. He's getting that so far.
And if you are concerned about the weather and the outcome of the rest of the day here, we are just in a bit of a blip of a heavy downpour at the moment. We are told it will clear a little later on. So hopefully after the B final, I'm sure that the Richies and their track crew will get out and they will try and clear a lot of the slop off the track and open it up as much as possible, because you guys like us here in the booth want a wide flowing racetrack as much as possible. Of course, you can't help the weather.
Yeah, and I think the strategy right now is just let the rain fall. It's going to get as bad as possible, and then we'll push all of that off at the last second and try to present the best racetrack possible. But for now, I mean, you can see it's a quagmire. These guys are getting the worst of it. And you see Joe Shimota still trying to move forward, but yet his teammate is still in 6th, Okura. So Japan actually they have a shot at this thing. They're 3rd at the moment. They have a lot of work to do to catch up to Venezuela, but they're not out of this thing.
Here is Joe Shimota then, bottom of your screen, the number 98 on the Kawasaki. He is circulating in 9th place at the moment. He's got, or he did have, John Mira just ahead of him. But I can't see Mira there. How far? What was the gap between them, actually? Well, we'll get Shimota over the line now. Has he advanced? Yes, he has. He's the 7th, so he's behind the 122 of Cordoba's, Miguel Cordoba's of Ecuador. And that's him in the first turn, just there in the ground. There's Mira. So Mira in 10th. Where's Edmund? So his wingman is in 12th place. So Ireland at the moment in 5th. They will not qualify with 22 points, a 10th and a 12th, 10 plus 2. But it's Venezuela on 7th with a rider in 2nd, Anthony Rodriguez and Lorenzo Lecurcio. And he is about 3 seconds behind Aminas Jasikonis of Lithuania. And then the 130 of Alves. So Rami Alves, who's more familiar with people on this side of the pond.
And all three of those guys, whether it's Alves or Rodriguez and Curcio that are on Team Venezuela, they've ridden this track quite a bit, right? They spend a lot of time Lucas on Motocross as well as Monster Energy Supercross. So not necessarily these conditions, but they've ridden this track a lot.
So number 99 there. Is it 99? Yeah. So Toriabi.
Yeah, and he's kind of the lone soldier here. If he can, I don't know that they're necessarily going to need his score, but if something were to happen to Shimota or Kura, his score can come into play.
Still 3 points in it between, well, there's Martin Barr, so he's taken the best part of 2 laps to get himself running again, so he knows by now that his result is not going to count no matter what.
And if it does count, it won't matter anyway, right?
Well, exactly his point. But at least his teammates have completed a full lap, so their worst result will be the one that counts. So heartbreak at the moment then for Team Ireland as they circulate in 5th place overall. They're a handful of points down on Lithuania. They're on 22, but it's Venezuela in the qualifying position at the moment on 7 points. As Anthony Rodriguez up and over La Rocco's leap. See how dark the sky was as they crested the summit there.
Yeah, and I think we're just going to get bands of showers until, maybe we get a clearing this afternoon. And at this point, the damage is done. Once the gates drop for those final motos, it's going to be, do we get rain or not?
Arminas Chatsikonis, a big Lithuanian coming towards us here with the yellow right arm, the yellow and green there. He is in 4th place. Been on the podium a few times in MXGP, but obviously he's had a rough deal with injuries the last couple of years as well. So good to see him here.
Yeah, he was on that very inside gate, and I was wondering if that would pay off or not. It was basically Chatsikonis, Rodriguez, and Shimota were the 3 inside gates, and you see all of them inside the top 10. So clearly that was the move. And all of the other teams, Team USA, Team France, Australia, all the players were watching that start. What develops? Joe
Shimota has been down from 9th to 12th, so he's made a mistake. Maybe pushing too hard like he did in the race yesterday as well in the MX2 qualifier. So all of a sudden, he's jumping down the order.
Yeah, it looked like he had crashed in Sector 3 there, and they needed help anyway. That's certainly not going to get it done. And it's more mistakes. Shimota yesterday mistakes, and he had really done a good job of eradicating those this summer in Lucas on Motocross, and you see them kind of show up again here today. The good news is that I don't think they were going to be able to close up the gap to Venezuela anyway, but I'm sure Shimota wanted a better showing than this.
Man down there in the background almost. Not sure who that was, but Yuki Okura, the lead Japanese rider, then in 6th place as AJ goes down. They were in 3rd anyway, but 7 or 8 points off the qualifying nation, or the qualifying position going through this last chance.
I always found it so peculiar that someone with legs that long would fall over. Like, just put your legs down.
Curcio, isn't it? Yeah, in 5th. JD Gunnick's stickers on the front fender. You found it curious?
Yeah, AJ's legs are so long. How do you just not stick your leg down and use it as a rudder in these conditions? But I mean, at this point, they probably can't see very well. Their hands are covered in mud. They don't have much grip anymore.
It's tightening up. Venezuela on 7, New Zealand on 8. 1 point in it between being in or out of this 75th edition of the Monster Energy FIM Motocross of Nations. We've got Connolly leading the way for New Zealand. He's the MX2 rider. Rodriguez, 67, the MXGP rider from Venezuela. Then we've got Alves, Chatsikonis, and Curcio. So we've got the 2 Venezuelans there, 2nd and 5th. That's where their 7 points is coming from. But 8 with Natsuki, who is now up to 7th, and he's 2 seconds behind Yuki Okura of Japan.
But I was wondering if Curcio would have snuck by Chatsikonis in that crash, so that gives them more of a gap. That drops their point total now down to 5.
And Curcio has now moved up to 3rd place, so he's gained a position or 2 on this lap, so that's going to open up the gap between 1st and 2nd. Rider going down here, probably. Yeah. Doesn't look... it's Reynarsson of Iceland. Yeah, miserable conditions here. I joked with Davey Coombs, Davey. Racer X.
A little bit, yes.
And of course,
happy birthday to him yesterday, by the way.
Oh, really? A lot of birthdays this weekend. Guy Rowley, Chase Sexton, Ash Manton from GoPro. 40 years old. He looks a lot older, though, bless him.
I'm sure I'll love to hear that.
But yeah, the I mean, the conditions here and all the rest of it. But I was talking to Davey, and I said, you know what? The last time we came here, we had rain Saturday, Sunday. This year, we've got it on Sunday. If we came back in another 2 or 3 years or whatever, hopefully we'll just get away with it. That Mirror saves it. So John Mirror stays there in 8th place, just ahead of his teammate Stuart Edmonds.
And you see these guys starting to pull their goggles, and really what the problem is, it's not so much the mud, it's the rain, right? The rain and the water gets behind you, or roll-offs or tear-offs, whatever happen to be using, and you can't see.
2 Venezuelans here, Linus Stern, Anthony Rodriguez, and Lorenzo Locurcio.
So I'm seeing some light-colored sky. Other areas are dark, right? And your hope. I'm just looking for glimpses of hope that we might get a break in the weather. It is a little bit lighter in certain sections. I think that's what it's going to be. I think there's going to be times where it's raining and times when it's not. The track crew really has their work cut out for them. You see how wet it is. All of this mud, though, is going to get pushed off.
Yeah.
It's just how much precipitation do we get in those late hours.
I was talking to Tim Cotter this morning as well. I said, who's your meteorologist? Who's the guy in the know with the weather? And he went, he's a good guy. He tells me it's going to be 2/10 less heavy than it was through the night. So he says we're in a good place. It's not going to be as heavy. So 2/10. Rather than 10 tenths heavier.
2/10 less than this doesn't look great to me. That's not reassuring.
Anyway, I think what he meant to say was it was 2/10 of the rainfall that we already had. So we've had the worst of the rain. So, but yeah, so we've got the 2 Venezuelans, Rodriguez and Locurcio, 2nd and 3rd, quietly going about their business. Where's Natsuki? He is in 7th. Connolly is still there, so it's still 5-8. Venezuela, New Zealand. Japan on 17, so too Lithuania Island, but that's irrelevant at the moment unless something happens. Looks like it's having a break in the weather as well. The rain, just looking out of our window here, does look like it's stopped. That's a godsend for goggles. Nothing worse than drizzle, even when you're on your own. Oh, no, all of a sudden, look, back on again this side.
And I'm looking at just what's it going to take for Natsuki to get this done. He's going to have to get up to 4th if everything else stays constant, so he's going to have to make some moves. He is right behind Okura and Jasakonis, but I think the gap he would need to get up to would be up to Alves to really make that jump. But they do have the tiebreaker. They do have Connolly there winning, so we'll see. Natsuki. There's a lot of math being done here, but for Natsuki, he's got to make quick passes. He has to at least move past these riders in front of him.
And actually, that's not this lap, but the previous lap, lap 3, Joe Shimota, 2:26.8. He had the purple time on the timing screen as he moves himself back up to 11th. But you look at the leaders, and that was 2:26 lap. 2:34 for Connolly, 2:32 Rodriguez, 2:30 Locurcio and Alves, and then 34. So that was a pretty decent lap on an MX2 bike. 8 seconds quicker than the leader.
Well, and Shimota he has speed. At the finale of Fox Raceway, when he won the final moto of the season, he was going 5 seconds a lap faster than Team Australia's Hunter Lawrence, and that's wild to think about that he would be going that much quicker, but it shows the level he's capable of. I don't know that he's going to necessarily show that here in the mud, but I think that's a superstar name. If you're not super familiar with Joe Shimota, you will be soon.
Joe Shimota. So Connolly continues to lead. There's AJ, big Armin Jasakonis of Lithuania. He decided to bring the pit bike this weekend, by the way. Stuck a 450 engine in it.
Yeah, I wonder why he decided. I mean, we're joking, of course. We have a rider here in the USA named Benny Bloss that is similar stature to Jasakonis, and they really make these, giant 450s look really small.
Actually, Guam qualified pretty convincingly yesterday.
Yeah, Benny Bloss had a really great summer, so it's cool to have some of these other personalities in this race from
I think Shimoda's been down again. Let's have a look. He's in 11th. Yeah, buries the front.
And you saw him get out of that main line, got a little high, and then he lost, all his weight's on the front there. Helmet visor bent down now. It's just not been a great weekend for Joe.
I think he's already thrown his goggles as well, hasn't he, as well, maybe? Unless that was the flag on the goggle strap. Well, that's the way to do it, around the outside.
Yeah, you get a glimpse there of how hard it's raining at the moment. And Team Venezuela, this is great, right? This would be a big moment for them to get into the A final. It is really coming down out there at the moment.
And actually, you know what? If when it rains like this, it dilutes the ground, doesn't it? Yeah, it makes it a little bit mushy, but that's just easier to push away. It's not heavy on the track. It's just deeper ruts.
Yeah.
The rain will just wash everything away. As soon as when you get the slushy parts, it's not sticking to the bikes.
Yeah, and thankfully, again, all of this dirt that we're looking at, this mud, hopefully will be pushed off for the main motos and we'll have a drier racetrack. But if it comes down like this again, if it's raining like this at 2, 3, 4 p.m., there's really nothing they can do. We're just going to have a muddy afternoon.
No, I'm confident that the track crew here, they know the place. They've been here in all conditions, all seasons, all weathers. As soon as the first rider is over the line and they can start work in that first turn, down the start straight, through the first few corners, and everywhere else on the track, fix the jump faces, they will be out there. They're going to need a lot of manpower to do it, though, and maybe woman power if needs be.
Yeah, and I think you need a little bit of a coordinated effort between the meteorology team and when is the window? When are we going to have the best effect, and wait till the last possible second of rain to push all that dirt off, because otherwise you just expose all the dry dirt to more rain if you don't time it correctly.
It's back to 2 points between Venezuela and New Zealand, with a fourth and a second for Locurcio and Rodriguez, because Rodriguez now down to fourth. The 130 of Alves has now found his way up into third place. So 6 and 8, still no breathing room for Venezuela to switch off at the moment. And A-Rod here, he's only 2.5 seconds clear of AJ at the moment. Only takes like a little moment just to get stuck in a rut. All of a sudden, you're under pressure again. But AJ will be, A-Rod will be more than, aware of that situation. Here is Lorenzo Locurcio. He had a torrid time in Mantova last year when Venezuela were there, broke his nose in the free practice. But,
yeah, I remember, I think we did even a pre-grid with him down and just trying to breathe through bandages and all sorts of stuff.
But anyway, he completes lap 5, or is it lap 6? Locurcio's leading. So we've lost Brody Connolly. He is down in second at the moment. So the Kiwi, it might just be that the pace of Lorenzo Locurcio is just that much better. Yeah, 5.5 seconds the gap. 450 against 250 would be, 231, 239. I'm just wondering whether he did lose a lot more time though, because he was lapping in around about 233s was Connolly. So to lose 6 seconds, I would argue that he made a mistake somewhere. So the gap now back 5 to 8. A 3-point buffer for Venezuela, and with less than 2 minutes to go, it's going to be 3 or 4 laps because he'd already gone over the line. 2:31. May just get the 2-lap board next time around.
And you really can't overstate how easy it would be to make a mistake on this racetrack right now. Just one simple error is going to cost you 10 seconds, no problem. Put your foot down in the wrong place. We saw Jessiconis go down, just simple mistake.
And AJ has been passed. So Rodriguez is now down to 5th. AJ is up to 4th. That's at the top of the hill here. So Aminas Jessiconis pushing Rodriguez back. That'll pull it back to sort of 5-7, that 2 points.
Yep, and Arminas is showing his experience, right? He's been in so many races like this throughout his MXGP career.
Well, this is this is like a track in Lithuania in summer.
Right, and for A-Rod growing up in Venezuela, he races in Brazil. No, I don't think he faces conditions like this.
Brazil, it rains, believe me.
Well, yes, correct, but typically their tracks are super hard packed, lots of hard clay. For him to race soft sands, ruts like this on this stage, probably not all that common. I would just, the point being, AJ has a lot more experience in conditions like this.
I could do with taking that ramp home tonight just to get out of beat parking.
I think everybody might need a little bit of help from that ramp tonight.
Yeah. Anyway, there is Lorenzo Locurcio, the Venezuelan, up through that sand wave section. Deep yesterday, even deeper today. Cool that they've got half a dozen TV screens around the racetrack here, so the fans don't feel like they're missing out. They're seeing the same images of what we're seeing. But Lorenzo Locurcio being absolutely immaculate. Didn't make the best start, but he was in the top half a dozen or so, just like his teammate, which is important.
Yeah, for those of you who have never been to Redbud, which I'm sure is many of you on MXGP TV here, Redbud is almost a track of two sides. You choose one side or the other to really view from, and those televisions really bring the whole track back, experience back to you. So really, really good idea by the Ritchie family, and of course in front to bring that.
So 2 to go then. Lorenzo Locurcio still has a 5-second advantage over Brody Connolly, who has matched Locurcio's lap time this time around, 2:32. The young teenage New Zealander. Natsuki is up to 6th. AJ up to 4th. Rodriguez 5th. So, still 6 points, 8 points. The first and second place riders, or nations, I should say. There you go on the screen. So Venezuela with their 6 points, that is because they have a rider in 5th with AJ in the with Rodriguez in the MXGP category, and the open class rider Lorenzo Locurcio, and Netsky closing in on Rodriguez. This is going to be an important pass. Who is ahead of them as well? Where's AJ? AJ's just the other side of the jump. So we still could have a situation where, oh, there's AJ already through the rollers. So it might not be enough. So Netsky will pick a point back here as he goes past Rodriguez. And Connolly, yeah, actually, Rodriguez was able to triple there.
Yeah, you see him squeeze a little bit, just move over a little bit and intimidate Natsky's line, that's smart racing. That's racecraft by A-Rod there.
So it looked like he was going to go back, claim a vital point, but it might have been his final opportunity to do so.
Well, and Stewie Edmonds is applying all sorts of pressure to Natsky, who actually goes by. So Stewie Edmonds on the charge. It's going to be a little bit, too little too late here for Team Ireland.
He's passed him.
Yeah, really nice ride here from him.
So Stewie Edmonds, late charge for him. That's going to dent the chances from New Zealand anyway. The rider just ahead, yeah, there's Netsky, New Zealand. Stewie Edmonds just ahead of him in the green. The Leprechauns are here as well. They don't care if it's raining. So as it stands now, barring any crazy mishaps on the final lap.
Martin barring.
Barring. But yeah, Venezuela looking like they're about to go through. There's Rodriguez. He is in 5th place. His team leader is already in the final sector, making his way probably up Larocco's league. But Edmonds also goes through. So there is a pass that New Zealand need. Rodriguez just looking like he's right tight. There's Netsky right back in the fray as well. Rodriguez knows he has to fight for every point, every place. Gets back alongside Stewie Edmonds. Edmonds makes the pass stick though. Locurcio over the line. He wins the race. Oh, we're on to the final lap, sorry. So Connolly there in 2nd, about 8 seconds further back. Alves, AJ, Edmonds up to 5th, Rodriguez 6th, Netsky 7th. And it's still 2 points. It will be down to 1 again as Netsky now down the inside of Rodriguez. Where is Akura? He's about 6 seconds further back. Can't imagine A-Rod just giving up a 6-second gap on this final lap, but you never know. He's just riding tight.
Yeah. Well, of course, these nations want to be in the A final. That's why they're here. And I wonder, they come across and say, "Oh, you won. What's your prize?" Well, you get 70 more minutes of mud racing. Congratulations.
Yeah. Yeah. The bad news is you're in the B final. The good news is you qualified for the A final. You have to get through the B final to do it. And on conditions like this, there's nothing worse for the rider, for the mechanic, just to reset that mind. Big sigh of relief, but it's just like, man, it's going to be a tough day already.
And I think there's a misconception. You see A-Rod going for the double there to try to get back around Natsky. There's a misconception that they're going really slow. This must be a lot easier on them. Their heart rate, physical effort. This is brutally tough. Every inch of their body is holding onto this motorcycle so tightly to keep it upright.
So Natsky, can he find a way past Stewie Edmonds to get it back down to 8 points? So 1 point deficit, yes or no? Sun's coming out, look, all of a sudden. Redbud, make the most of it.
Don't tease me, Paul. I'm in no emotional state for you to tease me with the sun right now.
I noticed you arrived late this morning. Struggled to get out of bed.
There were tears. I won't lie to you, there were tears. Tears and coffee.
Yeah, the tears diluting the milk in your coffee, in your cereal.
I'm hoping it's the last tears I'll shed today.
Jesus on the right-hand side there.
Yeah.
His haircut said no. Team boss.
Yeah.
So here is Lorenzo Locurcio. 8-second advantage with 3 corners to go. He can't do any more than he is doing. He'll be relying massively on his teammate, Rodriguez, who is back under pressure from Netsky. But even if Netsky finds his way past, it'll still be 1 point the difference, and that's all that matters as Venezuela look to go through. But there is still a little bit of riding when you think of the riders on the racetrack where they are. Muted celebration there from Lorenzo Locurcio. He will have a bit of a wait now, because here is where the battle is. Here's his teammate, the second rider in shot, queuing up behind a back marker. Doesn't need that on the final lap. Where's Netsky? I think Akura's gone through as well. So might be that Akura has found his way past Netsky. Breathing space for Rodriguez. We'll soon find out as we hit the line. So Connolly over the line, second, Alves, Jasakonis, Edmonds, and then Natsuki up to 6. Rodriguez, that's where it was. So Natsuki found his way through. Rodriguez 7, Akura 8. They tie on 8 points, but it's going to be the worst throwaway score. Let's have a look. Yeah, 31 for New Zealand with Reese Carter, who went out on the first lap.
Turn crash.
And then, 22 for Venezuela. So Venezuela will go through. So a dramatic first lap then, as Venezuela go through on 8, New Zealand on 8, but it's the throwaway score that will determine the outcome. And apparently we've got a transponder issue here. Well, a penalty notice for Reese Carter, apparently receiving outside assistance, but he was already 31st anyway, didn't even complete that. So he's obviously gone down on the first turn, probably had some help to get up. But anyway, Venezuela will go through New Zealand. And so anyway, here's Lisa with our winner, Lorenzo Locurcio.
Lorenzo Locurcio, congratulations. Team Venezuela has gone through. Just another 2 more races for you now.
Yeah, of course. You know, yesterday we had really bad luck. You know, Anthony had the DNF, and then MX2 rider Tressolini crashed. I was able to get 9th, and then today, yeah, we got a good start, Anthony and I. Anthony got a better start than me. I was coming through the pack. My goggles broke first lap, so I had to take them off. So I was on the whole moto without goggles. That was very difficult just to make passes because I didn't want to get roosted. But, you know, I got it done, got the moto win, got the qualifier, which is more important. And then now we go to the A finals.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Looking pretty fly for a Venezuelan.
Couldn't tell. That was the worst part of that race, is that we win and they can't even see the Fly Racing logos.
Oh, more tears.
It's been a rough morning, Paul. I'm not going to lie to you, it's been a rough morning.
So Lorenzo Locurcio and Anthony Rodriguez, 1st and 7th, go through as the final qualified team. They will line up later on today for Mxon 75. Wow, what a mutter that was, but I'm sure the weather will brighten up a little later on, and we will get some fantastic racing here at Red Mud.
That's not nice.
Nah, it's not. I'm like you. I want, and every fan here, I want a good,
Of course.
clean racetrack, good racing.
Yeah, let the best
and
team
all the
win,
rest of
right?
it.
Yeah.
But anyway, Lorenzo Locurcio wins it from Brody Connolly. We've got Alves, Jasakonis, Edmonds, Natsuki, Rodriguez, and Akura. So Yuki Akura there, and John Mira, and Domantas Jazdukas. Joe Shimota up and down again, 11th. But, yep, his work is done now. So too Japan, as Venezuela go through, tied on points. They get a 7th and a 1st. New Zealand get a 6th and a 2nd. But the throwaway races, a higher score for New Zealand than Venezuela. That is why Venezuela go through. And Venezuela were in exactly the same situation yesterday with South Africa. South Africa qualified 19th. Venezuela went through to the B final as the first non-qualified team. They were on the same points, same scenario, same rule applied. But Venezuela, their confirmation that they will go through to the main events in just a few hours' time. In fact, we will be live at 1 o'clock local time. It's 11:30 here. So you've got time to put your feet up, put the kettle on, stoke the fire, do whatever it is you do on
Maybe
race
put
day.
some mud boots on.
Get yourself down here to Redmond. Anyway, take a look at some of the best moments of that race, shall we? What can we look forward to today, Jason?
Hopefully not rain. But no, seriously, you know, the track crew is going to do their best job. Everyone's here. It's time to go. It doesn't matter, rain or shine. Everybody has to perform, and we got a little taste of that there in the B final.
So I would expect around about now our track crews to be firing up the machines and getting as much of this dirt off as possible. Yeah, okay, there'll be some people going, yeah, just let them race. But everybody, you know, it's a big push to be here. We've got a lot of people, a lot of race fans all over the world watching on the broadcast, parked up on the banks as well. You know, we all want to see a good race, a good high-speed race. If it is muddy later on, then so be it. But
Well,
the guys will, you know, get out on track and they will do the best they can for us to see the best possible race.
And for the international contingent here in Michigan, they're no stranger to wet weather. You know, we're in the fall. They're used to the rain. They know what to do. It's just going to be how does Mother Nature treat the afternoon.
All right. Well, look, Jason Thomas, I'll let you put your teeth back in. I'll see you back here at 1 o'clock for race 1, which will be MXGP and MX2. So we're going to be back to 2 riders per nation in the in the race behind the start gate. Of course, race 2. After that will be the MX2 riders going out again with the open class riders. And then later on the day, the final race of the day, the MXGP and open class riders. Of course, that is normally where the nation's event, the overall classification, is decided. So from me, Paul Malin, Jason Thomas, we'll see you back here in about an hour and a half's time. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.